Financial advice. To a younger me. To be completely honest, I am far from a perfect example of someone who has it all together. I have made mistakes, huge ones, personally, professionally, and most definitely related to finance. With that said, this is a collection of things I wish I would have known and started earlier in life. Some of these suggestions are a work in progress, meaning I'm still learning and figuring things out as I go. Others are areas that I totally understand and regret not starting years earlier. If you are under the age of 40, and now realizing that you need to make improvements for a better financial future, you are so lucky. You have plenty of time to learn, make a plan and make your financial dreams come true. The key is getting started, as soon as possible. So, follow along, and hopefully you will find a tip or trick from my missteps so you can do better, for your family, and most importantly, for yourself. Chapter 1. Learn how money works and what to do with it as soon as possible. Money is a strange thing. We all know what it is, and we all know we need it. Trouble is, we never learned how to grow it. Do not feel bad, this has always been the plan. We are taught to be consumers. So were our parents and grandparents. If you think about it, if everyone knew how to reduce debt, invest, maintain good credit for better interest rates, and build a solid financial future, how would banks, credit card companies, stores, and mortgage companies make money? Many of the things we see around us like TV, social media, and billboards are designed to take money from us. Ever wonder why when you search for something you may be thinking of buying on your phone, and the next time you are on social media, ads pop up everywhere? This is all by design. Companies spend billions to keep their products in our faces. And for those who might be saying, why are we not taught to see and avoid this? Simple answer, why would the lion ever teach the gazelle how to get away? From the beginning of time, some people have always profited from the lack of information, knowledge and understanding of others. If I understood this at a young age, I would have done many things differently. I always worked hard. And often I had part-time jobs and side hustles to boost my income. What I did not know and understand was what I needed to do with that money. Many of you have heard the phrase, pay yourself first. But what does that mean? Many believe it means to pay your bills first, then save and invest whatever is left over. I believe this is wrong. Paying yourself first means your savings and investments come first. If you really embrace this concept, you will look at your finances totally different. You will not max out your income on paying bills and then saving last, if you have anything left. Paying yourself first means you need to reduce your monthly expenses and increase your savings and investments. Learning to be happy while living below your means is one of the best things we can apply early in life. There are many wealthy people who do this, and so can you. By choosing to live below your means, you now have more money to save and invest. I get it, we all like nice stuff. But, if you start good money habits early, the nice stuff will come, and the results are amazing. Something as simple as investing $200 a month into a stable stock market fund for 30 years, with a modest return of 8% will net you over $320,000. Think about how easy it is to blow $200 a month. A night out, expensive meals, clothes or shoes we really don't need anyway, $200 is doable. But it's only doable if paying yourself first is priority number one. In most cases, as we get further in our working careers, our income increases. This opens the door to save and invest more. The problem with waiting until we are older is we have lost time we can never get back. Compound interest allows money to grow over time. The wonderful thing about being young is time is on your side. When you combine time with good money habits, you increase the odds you will have what you need as you get older. This is one of the first and most important things I would tell a younger me. Chapter 2. One source of income is never enough, streams are the key. As we all know, it takes income to survive. In the previous chapter, we discussed the importance of growing your money over time. But most people will say, how can I afford to invest? I don't make enough money. I'm about to give you some cold hard facts about money, and more importantly, your financial future. If you are maxing out what you are paid with things like rent, cars, purses, shoes, and entertainment, you will always struggle. And raises or more income will not help either. The more you make, the more you spend. This is known as lifestyle creep. Remember, college, high-paying skills or trades or large salaries may have you in position to make money, but we were never taught what to do with the money we make. But for most people, the opposite is true. Average and below average income earners often struggle to pay for daily necessities. Combine that with bad money habits and things get really difficult. That is why one stream of income is not enough. To be financially successful, we need to have two things. 1. We must know how money works, and 2. We must know how to grow money. Financially smart people in this world keep money flowing in from different sources. They then invest money into assets that grow in value over time. They only buy extra things after their investments are made. We all have heard stories of athletes and entertainers making millions of dollars, and shortly after leaving their careers, ending up broke. Also, everyday people win huge lotteries and in a short time, have no money left. It all comes down to knowing what to do with your money. The key is we must have money growing for our future. Now let's talk about ways to increase our income, to invest first, and still cover life's expenses. The first step is to maximize the income from your main source. For most people, this is your job or business. If this means adding new skills, applying for higher paying jobs, inside or outside of your current employer, increasing your customer base or product lines, etc. Just do it. By making yourself more valuable, the opportunities will come. Now, some employers may not see your growth or value. That is a sad, but true fact. However, never let their opinion of you determine your opinion of you. Remember, our goal is to get money to live and invest for our future. While you are working on increasing your main source of income, the next step is adding another one to the mix. Is that an easy thing to do after working all day or night? Absolutely not, but it is necessary in order to build your financial kingdom. Also, depending on your situation, two incomes working together, or living with family or friends in a shared expenses situation. You might already be headed in the right direction. In fact, you should be looking for these types of situations in order to free up money to invest. Anytime you can reduce your cost of living and pay yourself first, you are way ahead of the game. Below are a few ways you can generate extra income. 1. Ask yourself, what am I good at? Maybe you are good with social media, a writer, or good at math. Maybe you are very organized, artistic, whatever it may be. Once you identify your gift, find a situation, or create one, and start making money. More on this in Chapter 3. 2. Learn and monetize a high-paying skill you can operate after your job. Skills like coding, stock trading, barber or beautician, child and elderly care, baking, just to name a few, can bring in thousands in extra money to help you reach your goals. 3. Pick up a part-time job after your normal shift or weekends. Keep it simple and try to place yourself in an environment where you can use your natural talents. 4. If your current job pays you by the hour, sometimes it's as simple as working overtime, if possible. This should be temporary though, because having all your income come from one place is dangerous. An overlooked benefit of having multiple streams of income is, you now have choices. How many times have you or someone you know lost a job? It could be for any number of reasons. Point is, when all your income comes from one place, and you lose it, life can go from difficult to impossible very quickly. But, if you have added other streams of income to the mix, you now may be able to work your way through the situation. And even if things don't get difficult, by identifying and monetizing your strengths and high-paying skills, you one day may be able to leave the job and support yourself independently. Either way, your future is not determined by one person, organization, or bad situation. You determine your future. We are taught to get a good job, go in debt with mortgages, auto loans, college tuition, and credit cards, work until we are retirement age and hope we live long enough to get a few good years of life before we die. Keeping it real, retirement is horrible for many people, because the cost of food, shelter, and healthcare is so expensive. People work their entire lives, get too old to work one day, and hope they have enough money to live until they die. This is not a coincidence. By keeping us in the dark and placing us into this trap, banks, loan companies, and financial institutions have made trillions of dollars over the years. If I could talk to a younger version of myself, I would yell all the above and try to get me to listen. Chapter 3. Identify your gifts and put them to work. In the last chapter we discussed the importance of making money, and more importantly, making money work for you. One of the ways we discussed increasing your income to allow you to invest was identifying your gifts and putting them to work. Let's discuss this a little further. We are all good at something. Life and situations don't always allow us to fully grow into and monetize our gifts because responsibility and time get in the way. But, if you are serious enough about your future to be reading or listening to this book, you will find the time to identify your gifts and put them to work for you. Now, you may be wondering, how do I find my gift or gifts? Finding your gift can usually be accomplished by looking at one or two things. One way is to ask yourself, what things come easy for me? For some it might be math or numbers. Others might find public speaking, or the ability to read or hear something and quickly get an understanding is easy. Some people can fix anything. No training or school, it just comes naturally. The point is to look at yourself and honestly evaluate your natural talents. Once you find your gift, you are on your way. Another way to finding your gift can be found in the question, what do I find myself doing or drawn to when I daydream, or have downtime? Sometimes the things that we spend the most thoughts on are the hidden gems that were placed inside us all. Take a deep, honest look at yourself. Leave ego and all of that out of the process. Write down the true gifts, interest, and strong points that you see in yourself. Once you have completed this, it's time to move to the next step. Next, find or create situations where you are putting yourself in positions for your gifts to shine. This could be starting a side hustle or business or finding a part-time job. Don't overcomplicate starting a side hustle or business. Sometimes it is as simple as putting an ad or message on social media or passing out flyers or business cards. The key is letting the world know what you can do. There is always a problem or need. Be the solution, because it is already in you. Now, keeping it real, you might not get the big bucks right out of the gate. Sometimes, it might take time to get to a large income or salary from your second or third stream of income. But the cool thing is this could now be your second or third stream of income. And it's a gift that you were born with that is now making money. Remember, $200 a month into the S&P 500 for 30 years with a modest return of 8% will net you over $320,000. That is only $50 a week. Putting yourself into position to invest with money you made from a skill or gift that is already inside you is a big step to achieving your financial freedom. Chapter 4. Inflation, what it is and how to beat it. Many of us have heard the word. You hear it in the news, or maybe at work or from family and friends. But what does it mean, and why is it very important to those of us who care about our financial future? Inflation. Noun. A general increase in prices and fall in the purchasing value of money. So, by definition, inflation is an increase in prices, with the decline of buying power. You may ask, how does this affect me? If you have experienced an increase in gas prices, food, rent and pretty much everything else, you already know. Now, let us look at an example of what inflation does over time. Say a child was born in 1995 and is gifted $100. This person is now 27 years old and ready to spend that $100. How much buying power did that $100 lose or gain in those 27 years? By entering this question into an inflation calculator, we discover you would need almost $183 today to buy the same items $100 would buy back in 1995. Think about that for a minute. Have your wages gone up to match this increase in the cost of everything versus what we have lost in buying power? Absolutely not. And the sad part is, prices will keep going up at a rate faster than our wages. In the example above, inflation increased an average of 2% per year during those 27 years. Scary thing is, inflation increased over 8% for 2022. This is where most people fail. They work and have one source of income. They don't invest, buy things they don't need, and don't plan for the future. While they are not paying attention, everything keeps getting more expensive, while their wages stay flat, or they get small raises that don't come close to keeping up with inflation. And for the people who think saving money is the answer, the average rate of return from a savings account per year is 0.2%. This means, if you have $1,000 in your savings account, it is only earning $2 a year. Now that we know saving money is not the answer for our future, we should always have an emergency fund. The amount you save for an emergency will vary, depending on your situation, but some amount of money should be quickly available to cover short-term emergency situations. But, always remember, a savings account alone will not cover you financially as you get older. This way of thinking has hurt so many people as they age. The National Social Security average payment per month is $1,557. So even for people who worked and saved if possible, will still struggle, because the cost of living will just keep going up. In the past 52 years, 1970 to 2022, inflation has increased on average almost 4% a year. That means you would need almost $740 today to buy the same things $100 would buy in 1970. This is why it is so important to have your money grow faster than inflation. Now that we have a better understanding of what inflation is, it should be crystal clear why working to stay ahead of it is so important. These are lessons in life and finance earlier generations were not taught. If I could talk to a younger me, this would be one of the first concepts I would stress to myself. The game is rigged against us, but with knowledge comes responsibility. Then, when executed properly, power and freedom are the result. Chapter 5. Introduction to Investing. It's not as hard as you think. If you are still with me, you have noticed I talk about investing a lot. In this chapter we will discuss what investing is, and what to invest in. So, what exactly is investing? Investing is putting money to work for a period of time in some sort of project, business or purchase in order to generate returns greater than the amount you put in. Some examples of this are businesses, real estate, stocks, crypto, and others. The biggest difference between investing and saving is, investing carries more risk. Depending on the investment, you could lose all of the money you invested. Although savings carry little, or no risk of losing money, you will never outrun inflation by saving money alone. In Chapter 4, we discussed how money is losing buying power every year, and the return on your savings account is a joke. So, what are our options? In my opinion, the stock market is the easiest and most consistent way to put your money to work. The first question most people will ask is, what stock or stocks should I invest in? Again, my opinion, but I would not start buying individual stocks. I would buy what's known as an exchange-traded fund, or ETF for short. An ETF is a basket of companies all traded under one symbol. There are thousands of stocks in the market, and hundreds of different types of funds. So, the obvious question is, which one? In my opinion, the one that has consistent returns, stability, and has some of the biggest companies in the world, like Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Tesla, Exxon and others in it, is the S&P 500, or SPY. SPY has averaged over 9% returns for the last 30 years. And, if you go back to the start of the S&P 500, 1928, you will see, over time, this fund delivers consistent gains. Even in years the return was negative, during wars, recessions and depressions, the following years were positive. With that said, there are many ways to invest. Some of it can be complicated and confusing. You can avoid all of that, if you keep your investing strategy simple. Keep in mind, this is just the beginning of your financial journey. Many other opportunities will present themselves as your knowledge and experience grows. The key to this whole process is getting started. I wasted so many years I cannot get back because I did not know this. And the funny thing is, it is easy. You just need to give yourself time. The longer you invest in great companies or funds, the better opportunities you give your money to grow. This is by the miracle of compound interest. This is certainly information I would share with a younger me. Chapter 6. Tomorrow is not promised, so get that life insurance policy now. Death is not an easy subject to face. We all have lost someone we love or will one day face this tragedy. And, sadly, our day will come as well. So, what steps and measures can we take now that will give our loved ones the support and stability they deserve? One of the biggest steps we can take is to have a life insurance policy. Life insurance gives our loved ones future opportunities. It gives them a moment to breathe, financially, while they grieve. Life insurance also gives our little ones the financial support many of us did not receive. If you are still with me, you are learning how to increase your income, invest, plan for the future and make a better life for you and yours. So, if fate takes you away, life insurance will give the people you care about most the resources to move forward. You can never be replaced, but your vision can and should continue. Below, I will introduce you to two of the more popular types of life insurance. Before you choose a policy, it is very important to do your research. Compare a few options, and most importantly, purchase coverage from a reputable life insurance company. Now, let's dive in and look at whole life and term life insurance. Whole life. Whole life insurance is a type of permanent life insurance. It protects you from the moment your policy takes effect until you pass away. When you die, a beneficiary of your choosing receives a death benefit. That money is distributed tax-free and can be used for any purpose. Over the lifetime of a whole life policy, the monthly cost is fixed, so your rate will never increase. However, you must continue to pay the premiums in order to keep your coverage. If you stop making the payments, your policy will be cancelled and your coverage will expire. Another important feature of whole life insurance is cash value. Every time you make a payment, a portion of the money goes toward cash value, which acts as a savings account. You can borrow or withdraw the money while you're still living and use the money for anything you choose. But if you don't use it, the money goes back to the insurance company when you pass away. If you are looking for ease, lifetime protection and less personal management, a whole life policy might be right for you. However, keep in mind you pay more for that peace of mind. Everyone has different life insurance needs, and whole life insurance might not be the best option for you. For example, if you need a small amount of coverage and want the lowest premiums, you're probably better off with term life insurance. The rates are much lower, especially when you're young and healthy. You should also consider your family's needs and your financial goals. For example, you might only want life insurance protection while your kids are young. Once the kids are out of the house and are financially independent, you might have less of a need for life insurance. In this case, a term life insurance policy might be a better, and cheaper, option. Let's look closer at term life insurance. Term life. Unlike whole life insurance, term life insurance only stays in effect for a fixed period of time. Term lengths are usually between 10 and 30 years, but longer or shorter term lengths are available from some insurance companies. Term life has fixed premiums and a guaranteed death benefit. However, your beneficiaries only receive the death benefit if you pass away during the term. If you outlive the term, your coverage ends, and your beneficiaries don't receive anything. Additionally, term life insurance does not have a cash value payout. The two main benefits of term is it pays at death, and is lower in cost versus a whole life policy. In almost every situation, term life insurance is cheaper than whole life for young individuals in good health. That's because whole life offers longer protection and the added benefit of cash value. However, term life insurance premiums increase with age, so you should consider getting coverage early to lock in a low rate. As you age, illnesses, sicknesses, and a general decline in your health will happen. This will increase your insurance cost. Also, if you go with term life over whole life, don't forget to invest the savings you get. Getting insurance in your 40s and 50s is stupid expensive. But if you invest the difference you save with term versus whole life, you will have a nice nest egg. You don't need to make it complicated. Something like $100 a month into the S&P 500 will grow nearly to $70,000 in 20 years. You now have money to carry you into the next chapters of your life. Alternatives. Finally, let's look at another option to consider. You could potentially put your money to provide financial support for your loved ones in the event of your death. If you are doing well with investing, you could establish a trust for your children that would allow them to inherit your financial assets. Also, if you want income replacement during retirement, you could also put money directly into an individual retirement account, IRA, which could grow more quickly than the money in your whole life cash value. Whatever form of life insurance or investment plan you choose, do it as early as possible. The older version of you will be very glad you did. Chapter 7. Be better every day. Next, I want to discuss something not directly related to finance, but, if applied, will help you on your journey to financial freedom. We all have vastly different thoughts, personalities, and experiences. Since we all are so different, I have never been a fan of telling people how to act or be. That is an individual thing, right? But, we can all work to be better versions of ourselves. Take time to review your thoughts and actions. Ask yourself, how do I react in certain situations? What are the things I encounter on a regular basis, I could handle or process better than I currently do? Be brutally honest with yourself. Once you identify some of the more obvious things, start taking small steps, daily, to improve them. Nothing big, or huge, in the beginning, just small, but consistent measures, every day. None of us are perfect, that is a fact. However, we can all work to be better versions of ourselves. If you think about it, each one of us can be considered a business. We generate income, advertise daily by our appearance and personality, operate on a budget, make financial decisions, and many other things that businesses do. Now, ask yourself, what do successful businesses have in common? Successful businesses all work daily to be better. They are constantly looking for ways to grow income and reduce cost. Successful businesses care a great deal about their reputation and image. Successful businesses plan for the future. These are all things we should do as individuals too. In fact, these things should be a priority in our lives. Always remember, we are fighting for the financial future for ourselves and our families. Now, like most things in life, there are positives and negatives to the goal of self-improvement and financial freedom. As we discussed in Chapter 1, the world is designed to make us consumers. Rich and powerful people have done a very good job at trapping us in debt, and tricking us into buying and spending, to add to their wealth. So, when you start to make changes in your life to turn things around, everyone is not going to agree with you. You may be labeled different. But, you know what, that is okay. Don't let the fact you now have your eyes open make you feel bad, because others don't. Be totally okay with being different. Also, If that means letting people go, well, that is just what it means. It doesn't mean you are trying to be better than others, it means you want better for yourself and your family. Many of the thoughts above are not complicated, but can be hard to execute. It's not easy being different. If being different comes easy for you, congratulations. You have already crossed one of the biggest obstacles most of us will face. But as an older person, I can promise you, as you age, you will not care nearly as much about what other people think or feel about your future. I missed this lesson when I was younger. There is a saying, everyone is a teacher. Some people teach us what to do, and others teach us what not to do. Learn from the shortcomings of others' people. You do not have to repeat their mistakes too. The older version of you will be most grateful you did. Chapter 8. Build relationships with people who have already been where you are trying to go. At this point, you already have a foundation for your financial future. You know it's going to take sacrifice, patience, and determination. And to be totally honest, what you are attempting is not easy to do. The steps to financial freedom are not overly complicated, but the hard part is keeping the discipline to see it through to the end. Distractions are everywhere. As we discussed earlier, this world is designed to take money from us. So, how do we keep on track? One way is to find someone who is doing what we are trying to do. It may be a family member, coworker, or even a stranger you connect with. The point is to watch the moves of people who are in a position in life where you would one day like to be. Crazy thing is, most of them would love to give you guidance and inspire you on your journey. Those of us who have traveled this road get the fact that life for us now would be so much easier if we started when we were younger. That is the main reason I'm spreading this message now. So, your next question might be, how do I start the conversation? In my opinion, the best way is to just go in. Once you start dropping facts we've discussed, like interest rates, inflation, investing, and extra streams of income, they will instantly see you are for real. If I had taken the time to seek information from others, in the know, things could have been so much easier. Finally, I need to warn you of a few things. No disrespect intended, but not everyone in our lives is qualified to advise us on money matters. So, do your homework. If the person you talk to starts with saving money, with no plan to grow it over time, that is not the way. Remember, we are in a race to outrun inflation. As we discussed in Chapter 4, we need to come up with money-generating systems. When we create new streams of income, learn high-paying skills, and pay ourselves first by investing, we now have money growing for the future. Sadly, many of our parents, family members and friends do not know or understand this concept. You are on a journey to change that. Find people who have been down the path you are on. The older you will be glad you did. Chapter 9. Recap. Up to this point, we have discussed a great deal of information, concepts and goals. Let's briefly review some of these points. In Chapter 1, we learned how money works, and how we must put money to work for us. We also learned the true meaning of the phrase, pay yourself first. As stated earlier, many believe it means to pay your bills first, then save and invest whatever is left over. I believe this is wrong. Paying yourself first means, your savings and investments come first. If you really embrace this concept, you will look at your finances totally differently. You will not max out your income on paying bills and then saving last, if you can. By paying yourself first, at a young age, you will increase your wealth by hundreds of thousands of dollars, versus if you wait to start investing at an older age. Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 focused on increasing your income. We talked about finding your gifts and putting them to work. Also, we discussed learning high-paying skills like coding, trading, analytics and others. Additionally, we discussed not relying on one stream of income. Remember, multiple streams create security, because things can always happen to interrupt or remove our primary source of income. The main benefit to increasing your income is you now have money you can put to work to build your future. We also talked about avoiding lifestyle creep and other pitfalls that could take us off our path. Chapter 4 was dedicated to inflation. We learned how devastating inflation can be to us now, and even worse as we get older. We learned saving money alone is not the answer, because the interest we receive from the bank is nothing, when we compare it to the increasing cost of everything around us. If you don't take anything else from my thoughts, please know you must always work to beat inflation. Chapter 5 talked about one of the best tools we have to beat inflation, and provide financial freedom for us as we get older. By investing, you now can have your money growing at a rate faster than inflation. And the best part is, it does not have to be complicated or difficult. I introduced you to exchange-traded funds, ETF, where $200 a month can grow to hundreds of thousands of dollars or more over time. The key is getting started early in life. Chapter 6 discussed a difficult, but necessary topic, our death. As the financial leader of our families, our vision must continue, even if we are not here to witness it. One way is through life insurance. We discussed two of the more popular types of policies, whole life and term life. Both have pros and cons, but the thing is, they give us the ability to give the people who mean the most to us opportunities we did not have. Chapter 7 and Chapter 8 stepped slightly from finance and touched more on personal development and building relationships. As we discussed, the goal is never to be someone else. We all bring a unique set of skills to this world, no one else has. The goal is to become better versions of ourselves. A better you will make better decisions. As you learn more, and make better decisions in life, other opportunities will present themselves. This will help you on your financial journey too. Also, we talked about potential mentors or people who may be able to provide guidance and wisdom. By working on ourselves and finding people who genuinely want to see you succeed. Chapter 10. Conclusion. So, there you have it, a collection of thoughts and information I wish I had known and implemented earlier in life. Funny thing is, none of this stuff is extremely complicated, but does take discipline. If you are driven to succeed, you already have 90% or more of what you need. By collecting my shortcomings and sharing them with you, my hope is you can learn from them. Most people believe every lesson in life has to be learned the hard way. I do not believe that. You can learn from the mistakes of others and avoid them. So, review and discuss these thoughts and concepts. If you commit yourself, now, to improving your financial literacy, you will be able to build great levels of knowledge and achievement. Remember, there are people in this world who work very hard to hide this information and keep you down. Take it from me, the last thing you want to do is wake up one day, old, and writing a book about what you should have done when you were younger. LOL.